Audric Estime is a fine running back for Notre Dame. He is very good. They are good at running the football. It is what they do. Notre Dame is now a 4-point favorite over BYU Saturday at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. But I am a little surprised at the panache, if you will, the bravado of Audric Estime, Notre Dame running back.
Oh, well, they're a good team. They got a lot of good players, but I feel like their players don't match the players that we have. So if we just play our football, I feel like we should handle business.
Well,
their players don't match our players.
What does that even mean?
The Notre Dame players are better than BYU players. I mean, I hope he believes that.
Right.
But, Jake, why would you ever say this out loud?
Because they're brash, because they think they're better, because they think that they're going to handily win this game. And, hey, maybe that does happen. I don't know. I can't tell the future, but I don't see Notre Dame handily winning this game. You know, the line has now moved to 4 in favor of Notre Dame at Allegiant Stadium on Saturday, and I think that, you know, nationally, I think Notre Dame's obviously going to get a lot of favorability coming into this game. But if I, you know, learned anything from our conversation with Max Tooley earlier this week, I feel like it's that, you know, BYU knows that they've missed tackles. BYU knows that they have to be better. And I would expect, and frankly, they're going to need to tackle well in this game if they want to win this game. You can't have, you know, Estime getting, you know, 5-6 extra yards several times on their first drive. That's not going to happen. What you did against Oregon and how that went down is not obviously going to be acceptable in this game. And I think that there's no reason why BYU can't be right in this thing to the end. But I do think it's going to take, you know, a real change in philosophy, if you will. Like, I don't think you can come out with 3 up front and dropping 8 to start the game. That's not going to work, because if you do that, you're going to be in trouble. They will score on the first drive. They'll score a touchdown on the first drive, and you'll be behind, which is not what you want to do. And I think that, you know, BYU just needs to stand up a little bit here. They need to put, you know, 4 guys on the defensive line. You need to have 3 linebackers, 7 guys at least in the box. Like, no doubt about it, run defense style start to the game, because frankly, you know, Notre Dame is not some, you know, great passing team. They are a running team, and Audric Estime is the heart of that, you know, run for them. So to me, I think if you come out and you've got your mind focused on stopping the run early in this game, you're going to be fine.
I think that no matter what BYU does, Notre Dame's going to run for 200 yards. I think that the bigger question is, if you're not going to stop the run, can you stop the pass? I think that's a huge problem. Michael Mayer is an absolute weapon at tight end for Notre Dame, and they have struggled to get him involved in their offense. But I also think that, you know, you're going to have to find a way to limit their ability to throw the ball. And I think it's something that Notre Dame has gotten better at each and every week. And I think when you look at their offense, obviously Audric Estime has established himself as number 1 running back, but this is a dumb comment. Let's be honest about it. You're heading into a game that for Notre Dame is a must-win. You cannot continue to sputter the way that Notre Dame has sputtered. And the other thing that I would caution you against, and I know that BYU fans love running it out there, they lost to Marshall. We get it. They lost to Marshall.
Facts.
What does that have to do with anything Saturday in Las Vegas?
Right.
What does their game against Marshall weeks ago have to do with BYU's ability to stop the run? Because there is one thing that's very clear in this matchup, and it ain't rocket science.
Right.
And that is that Audric Estime will likely determine win and loss for Notre Dame on Saturday. I don't know what that has to do with Marshall. And BYU fans want to, and I think that's a way for BYU fans to like smack back at Notre Dame, or you better let that go. And you better hope that BYU's linebackers and defensive line, who is going to be without notable performers on that defensive line again, but you better hope that the linebackers and the D linemen that are out there for the Cougars, Jake, figure out a way to stop the run, because if they don't, this is going to be a very long night for BYU.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, BYU is, you know, if you don't stop the run, you're at risk of playing one of those games where you're just getting walked up and down the field. And I think if you know, we've had big conversations on the show this week about BYU's YouTube channel and like all the video stuff that they do and everything, all the effort they put in. And one of the best things they do every week is they have their practice media session, basically, where they're standing out on a field and they have different players and coaches come up and talk to them. And the other day it was A-Rod, and A-Rod was talking about the fact that, you got to come out, as far as the offense is concerned, you got to come out fast, and last week we heard, Tuiaki talking about the fact that, yeah, we do have to be better on the defense. So, like, to me, we're hearing all the right things in the program. I just think it comes down to guys like Max, making tackles. Like, I hate to say that because I feel like it's an easy and sort of convenient thing to say. It's almost cliche at this point. But I do agree. Like, the coaches can only do so much. Your offensive and defensive coordinators can only do so much. Like, you can't, like, Tuiaki can't make Max get, Audric Estime in the A-gap. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
he
can't, like, so it's up to these guys to go out and execute. And I just feel like that's kind of been, I don't want to call it an issue, but it's been a challenge for them to come out hot, to come out like really like with a lot of momentum and wanting to take someone's head off. Like, I feel like you have to set the tone against run-first teams like Notre Dame, because their mindset's going to be, hey, let's turn around and hand this thing off, and let's pound the rock. Even if we're only getting 2 yards of carry in the first quarter, we're just going to pound the rock the whole game, and we're going to wear these linebackers out. And to me, that's going to happen either way. So at the end of the day, you just need to stop them and embrace that and embrace the physicality and want to punish them. That's what I think the vibe of the defense has to be this week.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt also, by the way, that this is, bulletin board material from the Irish. Like, yeah. I'm sure that's what this is. And I'm sure that this will be up on the walls. I'm sure that Kalani's going to use this. I'm sure the linebacker room's going to hear this.
Oh, yeah.
I am sure that the D-line are going to hear this. I am sure that everybody on that roster at BYU is going to hear that Notre Dame thinks their players are better than us. Notre Dame thinks they're better than us. Notre Dame looks down their nose at us. I'm guessing that Kalani's going to pound that drum until kickoff. And then during the game, you're going to hear, hey, yeah, maybe they are right. Are we going to let them be better than us today? Like, you're going to hear this all game long,
yeah,
in my opinion. But we'll see. It's going to come down to what you talked about. I mean, the linebackers for BYU are going to have an incredible performance, or they're going to lose. It is what it is, man. Like, you either step up, perform likely above your grade if you're going to beat Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's a lot of things. They're fast and they're physical, and I don't care who their head coach is. Notre Dame is fast and they are physical. We saw it against UNC. They run the ball with purpose. They punch you in the face. We saw it against Ohio State.
Yeah.
Notre Dame was in that game for 3 quarters, and Ohio State pulled away late. And when you look at the way that Audric Estime ran against Ohio State, it's going to be a very long day for the BYU front seven.
That's right, T.
That kid has got a set of knees, hips, and shoulders that make him very difficult to tackle.
Yep.
So I think, again, I will just say, I think when you look up and down the depth chart at BYU, I think Michael Mayer's the much bigger problem than Audric Estime. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that, the real problem is going to come in if they're able to run the ball effectively against this BYU defense, then you're going to get, the pass Mayer is going to open up. This secondary is going to have to start making plays. But I'm just telling you, man, like, this to me, I just don't love this whole thing with the BYU defense where they want to play diamond nickel constantly. I just don't love that. I'm a
rush
huge
3,
believer,
drop 8.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in put 4 D linemen in the game, have at least two of your best linebackers behind them, and figure out the rest. But, like, to me, I don't think you can do this whole thing where you're basically just putting Max in the middle and playing a shell with defensive backs. I don't think that that's going to get it done this week.
Well, and it'll also be interesting to see how much of a loss is Malik Moore this week with the broken hand.
Yeah.
He is not going to play. I think that is a significant loss in the back end of this defense. But we'll see. I mean, obviously, that's not an injury that's probably lost for the season. But you're going to miss Malik against Notre Dame, because when you can creep, another guy up to the line like Malik who can help you in the run game, I mean, that's only going to make you a better team against Notre Dame. But we'll see. I mean, it truly is, in my opinion, disrespectful, but there's also some truth in that. Notre Dame's got better athletes outside. Notre Dame's got, and we'll see again, Puka was available to play against Utah State. My guess is he'll be good to go against Notre Dame. Chase Roberts is another guy that we haven't seen now in a couple of weeks. It'd be nice to get him back on the field. But we'll see. I just don't know. Is this true or is it disrespect?
Well,
I guess that's the question.
Both. I think it's both. I think that, Notre Dame, the thing that it says to me, I do think it's true, and I do think it's disrespectful, but at the same time, what it really says to me is that this Notre Dame team believes. They believe that they're better than you. They believe that they're going to turn around, hand the football off, and they're going to run it right down your throat. Well, that's what they believe.
Does Lorenzo Styles, break off a big play? Does Audric Estime have a 50-yard run? I mean, these are all the questions. The number that I would watch is Michael Mayer, 50 or more yards. I think if Michael Mayer has 50 or more receiving yards, Notre Dame's going to be almost impossible to beat. Because if that's the case, you are going to have a lot more room to run. He is also, by the way, Michael Mayer, the fine tight end at Notre Dame, is not a guy that has to play in the middle of the field. He also plays at the boundary, which is terrifying because that's going to allow you to play play action. That's going to allow him to be a guy that – he's run blocking, better come down. Oh, he leaks out.
Yes.
What kind of weapon is Michael Mayer in the red zone? They just, when you can run the football the way Notre Dame has run the football to this point, it just makes the tight end a much more lethal weapon.
Yeah.
And when you have a tight end like Mayer who can catch the ball in just about any kind of situation, it's an awfully difficult ask to stop both the tight end and the running back. And it's one of the things we've talked about on this show. It would be great. It would be great to see Isaac Rex have a much larger role in the offense.
Yeah.
I would love to see him be more targeted. Frankly, it's something that's I think a point of emphasis in this offense. They've clearly tried to throw the ball to the tight end a little more.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. Let's get your comments in here. Kurt Myers, first one in this morning, says, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. It wouldn't be sports without a little smack talking.
Well,
don't disagree.
Sorry if you're offended by that.
NY Jazz fan says, let's get it, fellas. We're trying.
Working on it.
I like that there's a chill in the air.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
Lets you think. I love that fall is here.
Yes.
Stoked about that. Kanai Johnson, what's up, KJ? Says, top of the morning, fellas. Sounds like a great game is brewing. Cannot wait. Look at San Diego State Aztecs up early this morning.
Okay.
Says, good morning, y'all. Jesse Hart says, their players don't match the players we have. Thank goodness he didn't say this before the Marshall game. There you go. Another Marshall bomb. But BYU does play better as an underdog. Let the holy war begin, baby.
That's right, T.
BYU and Notre Dame, Catholics versus the Mormons,
No, I mean, I think BYU at some point is going to have to get over this hump of constantly being an underdog, but I do agree. They do play well as an underdog.
Are you surprised the number's 4 points now?
Not exactly, because this is kind of what I was getting to earlier in the week. That Notre Dame has more respect nationally than BYU does. And again, this isn't a conversation about the realities of each program, right? If you think about, again, just as a one-off example, some guy in, New Jersey who's betting this game is probably not going to sit here and put money on BYU. I mean, let's just be honest about it. So to me, I'm not surprised to see the line shifting more towards Notre Dame. That said, I do think that there is, pretty good opportunity here for BYU to piss some people off in this game, because I think that, while yes, Notre Dame can really run the ball effectively, I also think that there's an opportunity to turn them over. I mean, if you're able to keep them somehow under 5 yards a carry, if you can keep them to 3 yards a carry and force them to throw it a little bit more than maybe they want to, that's going to open up opportunities for the defense.
Audric Estime has fumbled one time in his entire football career.
Yeah, he's probably not fumbling. No.
One time.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
I said one time, and it was in the win against North Carolina. Pop Warner, high school, Notre Dame, once. That kid's not fumbling. But, I mean, obviously, Drew Pine's the guy you're going to have to look at. I'm more concerned about Miles Davis. It looks like he's not in exactly, the best shape to play.
A-Rod said that there's a possibility. He was like, he is banged up, but there's a possibility.
That doesn't make you feel good. Mason Wake is supposed to be back for BYU, by the way, which I think is a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. This game, I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it for BYU, just really getting into watching a lot of I watch a lot of Notre Dame football. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I don't feel good about this. I mean, I really worry about their ability to stop Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
And again, Lorenzo Styles is a hell of a wide receiver. If you don't know him for Notre Dame, I know everybody's viewing them as a down team. They played awfully well at North Carolina. They're coming out of a bye. Like, BYU's banged up. That bye is not. I don't think BYU has a bye for the next 4 years. It feels like that bye is.
Could this be where Jaren has that game where he saves them? Could this be where guys like Keanu Hill or any of these secondary
Cody Epps,
any of these secondary role players who are stepping into bigger roles sort of come out of that? Because I think that, I agree with you. Like, obviously BYU is not 100% healthy, but no team is. You're 5 weeks in now. And, the injury bug is always one that you have to deal with. But if Jaren can have a big play in the first quarter, if they can get that early bomb on offense in the first quarter, that to me makes me feel a lot better about their chances, because then we don't have to deal with the slow start conversation. We don't have to deal with the sluggish thing. And I think if they can get over that, they've got a lot better chance.
Yeah, I think when you talk about slow starts, I think it's a real problem, especially when you're trying to cook a brisket and, the smoker won't fire up and you don't have anywhere to go and you don't know how to fix that. So you call Barbecue Pit Stop in.
That's right, T.
Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and Salt Lake City. They're awesome to deal with. Friends are good friends at Barbecue Pit Stop. Listen, it's not that they sell smokers. They do. They sell the best smokers, from Traeger to Yoder to Big Green Egg. They sell them. You get them. It's awesome. But you know what you're getting? You're getting education. Our good guy Lopes fan Gabe talked about how Clinton at the Lehigh store is going to do a how-to video on cooking a brisket on YouTube. Like, you get education at Barbecue Pit Stop. And I'll be the first to admit it. I was a little intimidated when I first got a smoker. I was like, I don't know how to rest and wrap. And your mom, like,
I'm a guy of simple taste.
Yeah, I just want the meat off the smoker, burn ends, let's do this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you go to Barbecue Pit Stop, we bought ours at the store in Murray. We bought an Ironwood 885. Those guys taught us everything we needed to know. Set up, how to build it, how to cook a brisket. And frankly, we had a barbecue like 2 weeks later, and everybody at the barbecue was like, this is the best brisket I've ever had. And there's no better feeling than that. When you go crazy on a Traeger smoker and you're like, brisket, and you're like, oh man, did I cook it right? Did I let it rest long enough? Did I season it right? What am I doing here? It's going to taste like dong. No. Oh, contraire, mon frere. It tasted like sex. It was amazing.
Y'all feel me?
I don't.
That
that's probably not the taste.
Too far,
but go to Barbecue Pit Stop.
I really don't care if you think it's sus.
I don't care if you think it's sus. It was amazing. bbqpitstop.com. You can chat with them online. The other thing about Barbecue Pit Stop is their selection of rubs, seasonings, smoke, like all the sauces, the wing dust, the asado seasoning.
And hey, if you're somebody who's not in Salt Lake City, you can't get to a location, just call them. They'll ship it to you. They'll make it work.
Chat with them online for free at bbqpitstop.com. 1T, bbqpitstop.com. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. We appreciate it. The guys at Barbecue Pit Stop, no matter where you are listening to this fine here program, they're ready to help you at bbqpitstop.com. All right. Let's get some of your comments in here before Football at 50 real quick. By the way, we appreciate you guys. We're going to make a huge announcement about the show at 8:15. Utah Grizzlies head coach Ron Kanasowicz joins us at 8. Then at 8:15, we'll make a big announcement about the show. That's coming up. Caleb Harrison, what's up? Caleb Harrison, where did he go yesterday? Quick Quack Car Wash.
Let's go.
Appreciate that. NBA in 12 days. Yes, sir.
James.
By the way, coming up at 7, we're going to talk about a little bit of an oddity with the Jazz. Something happened yesterday between us and the Utah Jazz that was really interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to have a conversation about that coming up in 9 minutes. Jeff Johnson.
Hey, excuse me, it's G-off.
G-off. You have to earn your way back to Jeff, apparently, with Jake.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Yeah, thank you.
Renee Roca says, I like it. Confidence, believing in your team.
Agreed.
I would agree with that. Renee Roca says, BYU or any other team shouldn't need bulletin board material. I never bought that. Championship level teams put out their cleats every game. Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Tanner says it's not just that they lost to Marshall. It's that they're 2-2, and honestly, they should be 1-3. They shouldn't be 1-3 because they won 2 games and lost 2 games. So they should be 2-2. And honest to goodness, they have a new coach. There is a new system in place. A lot of their talent transferred. They're going through a transition, and I think you're just seeing the fruits of that transition. I hope you're right. I mean, for let's be honest, for the betterment of this show, BYU needs to beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It is that simple. I'm not ready to make a prediction on that game.
Nope.
But I'm telling you right now, Notre Dame is not to be overlooked. Their 2-2 is exactly the issue with looking at Notre Dame because they are as talented. They're more talented than BYU. They are. I think they're clearly faster. They play at a higher pace. The difference is BYU has an All-American quarterback. Notre Dame doesn't really have a number 1 quarterback. They've got 2 number 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
That's where the biggest when you want to contrast things, their defensive line at Notre Dame is better than BYU's defensive line. BYU is far superior, in my opinion, at quarterback. Notre Dame is far superior in the running backs and at tight end. And I think BYU, I love Lorenzo Styles. I do. Lorenzo's phenomenally talented. This BYU wide receiver room is arguably the best wide receiver room in the country.
All due respect.
Now, is Chase Roberts and Puka Nacua going to play? I don't know. We'll find out. But if they do, Notre Dame's got better, or BYU's got better wide receivers than Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of what your flavor of life is and